Alright, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today we're going to be talking about someone who we've talked about here on the channel before. It was about maybe a year and a half ago, I want to say, and of course that would be Kris Tyson. This was, I think, around the time when he first came out as transgender or something like that. However, since then, he's been in a lot of controversy, especially in the past couple of weeks, specifically due to a video that I'm sure by now most of you have already seen that pretty much exposed him for not only being friends with someone who draws lolly, but also pretty much getting on his Vosh vibes and having the shit in his house. Now, if that wasn't bad enough, there's another video that a YouTube channel by the name of Prism42 made that essentially just exposes the fact that Kris Tyson was pretty much flirting or having sexual-esque messages with a minor at the time. And of course, all of this was while he was above the age of 18. I think he was around 20 to 21. So a huge shout out to Prism42 for uncovering these messages. He apparently messaged the guy who Kris Tyson was talking to himself, came in with a bunch of evidence in a folder, showed it all on the screen. If you guys want to watch the video yourself, I should have it linked in the description down below. It is a pretty long one, about 42 minutes, but without further ado, let's get into it.
So I'm not going to say this guy's real name. I'm going to be referring to him by initials. I'm going to say BW. And so what I'm going to say is BW, Kris Tyson reached out to this guy when he was 13 years old. Except the problem with that is Kris Tyson started an online friendship with this guy when he was only 13 years old. Now the problem with that is Kris Tyson was born in July of 1996. Lava GS was born on November 12th, 2003. The problem with that is that there's a 7-year age gap. So when you started socializing with this guy online and building an online connection and some sort of friendship and you talking to this guy, playing video games with him, socializing, he was only 13 years old. He was in middle school and you were in college. You were 20 years old. So that's what I'm going to talk about, is why is it that someone who is in college, who is like a sophomore or junior at that point, what are you doing making friends with a middle schooler? Now, this is all really, really, really bad considering all the other stuff with the art that I talked about, the fact that you're also bisexual, and the fact that you are talking to this guy one-on-one, unattended, and you also had made this guy your moderator. You also had sent this guy Snapchats, which by the way were inappropriate. You talked, some of the subjects that you guys talked about are just inappropriate. He's asking you like these inappropriate questions, and it's someone that you know is 13, and that you should not be talking to someone that is 13 when you are in college. When you are in college, you should not be talking to any middle schoolers, privately, one-on-one. It is absolutely unacceptable. And the fact that you are also attracted to men as well as women, you should not be talking to young boys that are in middle school while you're in college. That is disgusting, that is gross, that should not be happening. And so what I'm going to say here is I'm going to start talking about the evidence, but that's an overall summary of what happened. I'm going to go over each one.
So certain situations like this, I feel like there's a whole power dynamic at play too, especially if you're a well-known content creator. People look up to you, people like you, Now, I was never really one to watch Mr. Beast growing up. I never really was into the culture of Mr. Beast like that. And to be honest with you, I support the guy, but I still kind of don't watch his videos. However, what I am aware of is the love that people had for Kris Tyson himself. Apparently, he was known as the meme god. And I guess out of the Mr. Beast staff, Kris Tyson was one of the favorites. So obviously, it would have been very likely that this kid would have been one of his fans specifically. When you're a kid, you're not really in rational thought all the time. Hell, even some adults aren't, but it would be super easy to just take advantage of a little kid like that, especially with him being a fan. So I just want to put that in your guys' mind as we go forward in the video, that that's always something to consider when you have these type of situations on your hands.
You've been playing video games with, he's asking you, Kris, does she know about your hentai addiction? And that's the thing, is this guy at this point, November 12th, 2003, he would have been 14 years old. So this guy is asking you these questions, and you were talking to him when he was super young. How does he know this? I don't know. But it definitely doesn't look good, because this is someone that you were talking to. Again, obviously, I just want to say that this is probably the worst part of all this. And, well, I mean, other than the fact that he brought a camper van to meet up with you, that's also really bad. Because you were talking to this guy since he was like 13 years old. I think it's really bad that you were talking to this guy since he was 13 years old and he brought a camper van to meet up with you. That's pretty fucking bad. Oh my god. And one thing I want to say right here is this is the part that I have a problem with. Is you made this guy a moderator. You made this guy a moderator of March 26, 2018. This is past that. At this point, you already had been talking to this guy. You're already friends with this guy. You already know this guy. And what is he? What are you saying here? So you post something that says, "Guys, we are so close to our goal. Oh my God, one more Patreon and I'm releasing my nudes." And of course, this is some poorly made joke. I've seen these kinds of jokes online before where it says, "Oh, if this post gets 1 like, I'll kill myself," and then the person likes it. It's, you know, this kind of joke. It says a goal of $3. I want to see if anyone is dumb enough to give me money. But of course, it's only you and this other guy in this Twitter thread. And this is the part I have a problem with. This isn't a group chat. This is literally just him and this other guy that he's been talking to and that he's friends with online. He says, Lava says, "I'm your first Patreon, big boy." Now keep in mind, Kris Tyson, he was born July 1996, so he would have been 22 years old at the time, or around that age. And you have this guy who was born in November 12, 2003, he would have been 14. And of course, here he is, "I'm your first Patreon, big boy," which he's calling him big boy. And he shows that he donated some money, he donated like $1 or something, so it's not enough to meet the goal. And he says, "But not $5, pathetic, just kidding, kissy face."
Now look, man, I'm gonna be honest, that's a horrible look for Kris. Talking about your hentai addiction with somebody who's not supposed to be knowing about that, even if they are the same age as you, that's still fucking weird. But to have it be a little kid as well, and a fan, it's just kind of too much, man. Now, I will say this, though, we don't know the ins and outs of all the conversations that they've had. We only know the ones that were documented and presented to us in this video. But regardless, I hope you guys would agree and, you know, see how this is wrong. And, you know, here's another thing, too, right? I want to say this. I don't really think that, you know, pornography should be anywhere near kids, right, at all. It's already bad enough that you can find it early on your own. However, it's one thing when you can find it by yourself, but it's a completely different topic when someone else is introducing you to that stuff if you haven't known about it already. And let's just say that Kris Tyson wasn't always talking about it with this minor. Even if you mention it a couple of times or just once, and even if it is a joke, you could still spark curiosity in this person. Like I said before, you got to take into account that this guy's a fan. He might want to know more things about you. So when you mention something like this, oh, maybe I should go look it up, see what it is. All I'm saying is, man, you got to keep kids as long as possible, because once you get into the bullshit of adulthood, that's when it gets real.
Right here. And as you can see, he says that when he was 16, he was in a Mr. Beast video. He asked Jimmy, "How hard do you want it?" 68 million people have seen it. What I want to start out with is when this guy was really young, he won some sort of competition or was involved, and he DM'd Mr. Beast on Twitter and got sent a knife signed by Mr. Beast. He was like 12 or something. And it was a karambit signed by Mr. Beast. It was a CSGO karambit. Sure, that seems to be the first interaction that I can tell. One thing I want to mention is on Lava GS's Twitch account, he puts under friends, Caleb, Kris. They're mainly just from Discord. So Kris is not a family friend. He's a guy that he met online. And of course, he even puts, "How did you meet Mr. Beast? I found his channel a few years ago, back when he was small. He had around 500 subs. So again, this is a guy he met online. He doesn't know this guy. It was a person in college who decided to socialize and make friends with a middle schooler. And so, of course, he's in the video. I made 100 players escape an impossible maze.
Evil. Lava, Pluto, assemble!
Hi, how are you?
I need you to make this 10 times harder.
How hard do you want it, Jimmy?
Hard.
Here we go. So this is the part that is pretty distressing here. So just keep in mind, how he's talking to him. And I'm sure they'll have some explanation like, oh, you know, I talk to everybody this way. But come on, you can't be talking to someone who's like super young in middle school this way. Because there are some other posts that are definitely more concerning. He says, I really enjoy playing Fortnite. Would you guys want to watch me stream? And LavaGS says, please stream again. And he says, thanks, Dad. You want to moderate it? And he says, I love to. And keep in mind, he was born November 12, 2003. So at this point, Lava, because I'm just going to say Lava, I will not say his real name. Lava would have been 14 years old at that point.
Now, obviously, this kid has been around Mr. Beast and, you know, around Mr. Beast content for a while. Apparently, he said he found out about him when he was around 500 subs when he was really small. And of course, I'm not saying that Mr. Beast himself had anything to do with this. This is probably just a Kris Tyson only situation, or at least I'm hoping it is. And, you know, it's awesome that Mr. Beast and other creators will want to have their fans in their videos. I have zero problem with that. It's only the fact that somebody from Mr. Beast's team kept in contact with the guy. And in my humble opinion, I don't really think that conversation should continue after the content was filmed. And if you are doing something like that, maybe just like a, hey, how are you? Hope you're well. Or just like, you know, talk about normal shit, not add him on Snapchat and start talking about you're coming for America. Like, come on, dude. You can't make this stuff up.
He takes a camper van out in the middle of the woods, which, by the way, very secluded area. Let me talk about that. Anytime that someone is taking a camper van somewhere, bringing it out in the desert or the middle of the woods, it's very unnecessary because there's RV parks, there's the Walmart parking lot, there's plenty of areas you can go instead of going to a place that's very unfamiliar to you to camp out there, especially in a secluded area. So the real question is, if he was talking to Kris Tyson, who is interested in both men and women, since he was 13 years old and Kris Tyson was in college, why did he take a camper van out to see him and take it out in the middle of the woods in this secluded area? And then he met up with him like 2 days later, like the picture was posted. It's, why did this happen? When you're talking about an inappropriate topic with someone who you know is 14 years old and you meet up in person, it all looks very suspicious. And that is why when we interviewed him, we were trying to ask if he had been molested or if someone had talked inappropriately to him, because we genuinely believe that something might have happened to him. Although he claims nothing happened, very well, there might have been nothing that ever happened, but still, talking about inappropriate topics with someone that you know is a middle school.
Now, of course, I don't really know about the legality of all this stuff. It is really fucking weird. Like, I didn't really say anything about him being touched. Now, of course, like he said, in that camper van in the middle of the woods or wherever they were, something could have happened. Who knows what they talked about? Who knows what they did? But what I'll say is this. If you're a popular content creator, you know, the way you interact with your fans is the way you choose to interact with your fans. As long as it's not, like, weird or you try to meet up with them or talk with them sexually or anything like that, or do anything dangerous, I mean, it should be fine. But, dude, I mean, like, lately, for some reason, 2024 has been like the year of the PDF file, whether confirmed or not. For some reason, people just can't stay away from kids. What the fuck, man? Anyways, guys, that's gonna be it for me today. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, hit that like button. If you want more content similar to this, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you in the next one. Sub up, stay safe, and peace.